Started about 4 years ago when my wife and I moved in here, and just started hearing like random noises like knocks and like ticks and everything and knickknacks. And I called my landlord, spoke to my landlord about it, and he had told me the house was, over 300 years old, and he explained to me that there was a underground tunnel that was used for slaves, and it had a history. So then we did research, my wife and I, and we found out about the very first owner, which was Asa Upson, and he had 9 children, and he's buried at Lewis Street Cemetery. Supposedly they say that's haunted. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I tried to get permission to get in there because I wanted to do some research and look at his cemetery stone and whatnot. So I didn't get a chance to do that, but throughout the years living here, my son had been waking up every night. My son Aiden, he's 4 years old, and that's when my wife and I decided to call a paranormal team from Seymour, Connecticut, and we did investigations. They checked out the basement, they checked out the tunnel. We left the voice recorder in my son's room. We went out, and then we came back, and we heard my son's name being called and whatnot, and then we tried doing more research to the house. And it was just, I just want answers. I want to know why, who's getting in contact with my son. What do they want? I had bought a psychic. Her name's Christine. I'm not sure her last name, but did bring a psychic, and she said it was very, very, very high energy, but it was very good energy. She feels that the kids are in danger. She feels that there's either someone that's trying to get a hold of my son, to try to get a hold of us, to give us a message. Ever since then, we're still hearing voices, even in my room. There's once in a while I'll hear my name being called, my wife will hear her name. My son's still waking up every single night. He's hearing noises, every now and then we'll see like glares. I'm not sure if it's from the headlights of a car or if it could be a spirit or whatnot, but we see random things, we hear noises, knocks and whatnot. So we want to stay here. We just want answers. We want to know what's bothering my son. Again, we were told that this first house is built here on this road. They said before it was called Burlington Avenue, it was called Peacedale, I believe, and it was a farm. And when we did the investigation in the tunnel, we found bones. We thought it was human bones, but the remains were horse bones, cow bones. But there's like antique like dishes in there. There's like shoes. There's some clothing from people, and we believe it's from the slaves that was back in the tunnel many years ago. So it's got pretty good history to it, and I enjoy living here, but again, I want answers, to see what's bothering my son. That happens is in here.
In here?
Yeah. This is Aiden's room, and
Is this where the CD or the recording
yeah,
of the voices?
Yep, we had, we were sitting in a circle.
Right.
At one point, we were asking questions, and they had the EMF reader. I guess they call it the K2. And the light, when we were asking questions, the light would go from yellow to red, from green to red, and it kind of got me a little worried. But then we left the voice recorder right here on the windowsill, and we left the room, and we left the house. And then when we got back, they checked it out, and they heard voices. And then when they did it the next night while my son was sleeping, and that's when we heard my son's name being called while he was sleeping. And then he woke up, and that's when he started crying to come in.
Right.
But like I said, this is most of the action that happens in here. Nothing. This is just like a playroom. Now when I first moved here, the whole basement was cluttered with stuff. So I asked my landlord if I could clean everything out. He said fine. Excuse me. Threw everything out, cleaned everything up, and then I asked him what this was, and he had told me this was a tunnel. So I checked it out, and I go in there, like I said, you know, I dug some stuff up. I found some interesting things in there. And it's the perimeter of the house. It goes around the whole house. And it's pretty wild. I'm not sure. But, yeah. All right. How low is it here?
Huh? How low can you go?
Holy shit. To the other side, but this is like, if you want to flash the light to this wall right here,
Yeah.
you see how it's blocked off?
Yeah.
He said that's where the slaves had tried to escape, you know, and you find all kinds of things in here, like I said. So, kind of animal bone that we found in here, and just a shoe that we found in there. And like I said, you know, when they go in there and do the investigations, they find like a bunch of stuff. Tell me about it. Also, I can show you this
What's that?
from my son's room. Over here, there was a fire right here, and I'm not sure how many people had passed on here, if or any, but there was a fire, and there was a chimney in my son's room where I could show you the floor. But you could tell that there was a fire in this section right over here. And this was an old fireplace. This has the ash in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You got the ashes in there, and then there's that little fire thing. So. Good boy.
Camera. Oh, things were crazy. Hey, buddy.
Because they always say, I spoke to a gentleman who was into like spirits, and he said if you constantly burn incense, it'll calm the house down. So I'm constantly burning incense, constantly.
What does it do again?
It calms the house down. They said that not to stir things up, just keep incense going, and it kind of like calms things down.
Cleanses it?
Yeah, it cleanses it, supposedly.
Well-
You know, and I mean, I'm religious. I go to church, I pray, I have my angel over there. I have a picture of Jesus up there, you know, and I mean, you know, like I said, I don't do nothing crazy. I never thought I'd ever believe in like spirits or ghosts, but now I honestly do. With everything hearing in the house, you know, because like randomly, you know, my wife and I sleep in this room. My son sleeps on the couch when he wakes up. My 2-year-old sleeps all night, and the rest of the house is quiet. And you'll hear like that, you know, you'll hear bangs, you know, out of nowhere. You know, like, what was that? Now, we don't think nothing of it because we're used to it. But like years ago, we were like freaking out because we were like, oh my God, you know, there's noises. But now it's like when you hear noises, we don't really think of nothing bad about it, you know, because we hear it all the time. We're used to it. We'll hear noises in the basement. We'll hear like bangs or whatever. Like I said, we'll hear whispers. We'll like, you know, sometimes we'll see like lights, you know. Sometimes I'll see lights go across the ceiling. I mean, from the wall to the ceiling, and it'll disappear. I'm not sure if it's, like I said, it could be car lights or it could be something else. I'm not sure, but, you know, I definitely like you to hear the CD, you know. You hear the whisper, says Aiden? That was in my son's room. We were in a circle, a complete bang. Courtney, Jamie.
Lisa Upson. He is buried down at Lewis Street Cemetery, and I know that he had like a ton of kids, and one of his daughters' name was Ada, and my son's name's Aiden. Hi. Which is odd to me.
Was this a funeral once before? Didn't they say it was a funeral?
Well, they used to have funerals in the house way back then,
Right.
and they said the looking rooms were like in the front windows. So
And what year was this house built? Do you know?
I'm not sure the exact year. I think they said the 1800s. Because I know
Aiden.
Asa Upson was born in the 1700s.
Edie, come here.
So if you go to the library, our house is in a book, and it has all this information that we looked up.
And what were your experiences in the house?
When I first moved here, I thought I was going crazy. We used to hear noises all the time. Like the first time I ever heard something, he was outside and the radio just went up by itself. And I'm like, okay, and I started freaking out, and I would never go in the basement or anything. But I mean, living here for like 3 years, I kind of get used to it.
4 years almost.
Well, 3.5, yeah. So I kind of got used to it. But you still hear noises here and there. Last week I was doing laundry. I went in the basement and put it in the dryer. I came up, and then I went down to switch it. The dryer door was open. The knob was on 0, and the clothes were still wet. I was freaking out. I don't know what it was.
Buddy. But like I think this is where the fire was, because this is right where I showed you, and I think this is where they replaced the wood. This is where the heating system is.
Oh, yeah, you can see right down there.
Yep. We heard a noise when Aiden was in school, and I got up and I noticed that it was like hanging on the side,
It just fell off?
fell off, and it was quiet. Just literally fell off, and you can see it's on the nail. It's in here, but again, I want answers, to see what's bothering my son.